Imagine this. The chemistry is strong, the connection feels unshakable, and everything seems to be flowing perfectly. Then out of nowhere, she asks for money. In that moment, the energy shifts. Now you're standing at a crossroads. Do you give in to keep her happy, or do you risk losing her by saying no? Most men panic and hand it over, thinking generosity will secure her affection. But the truth is, every time you pay to keep her, you pay with more than just cash. You pay with your respect, your boundaries, and eventually, your attraction. That's the hidden cost of saying yes. But here's the paradox. Saying no, when done with confidence, doesn't push her away. It can actually pull her closer. In this video, I'm going to break down 5 powerful truths that show you how to refuse her financial demands and still keep her deeply interested. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and drop a simple yes or no in the comments below. A woman may admire generosity, but she never falls in love with a wallet. She falls in love with a man who knows his worth, who doesn't feel the need to buy affection, and who understands that value is not measured in currency. The moment money becomes the foundation, attraction is no longer rooted in respect, but in convenience. When you refuse to give her money, it isn't about being stingy or cold, it's about setting the tone of the relationship. The tone that says, I am not here to be used, I am here to be chosen. Female psychology works in subtle ways. When she asks for money, it can often be more of a test than a genuine need. She's watching how you react. Will you bend quickly just to keep her close, or will you stand firm in your frame? The man who bends too easily signals desperation, and desperation kills attraction. The man who calmly refuses without anger signals strength, and strength amplifies attraction. The frame of value is about identity. When you show that your value comes from your confidence, your energy, and your presence, you create a dynamic where money is no longer the anchor of connection. Instead, she is drawn to the man behind the resources. This forces her to interact with you on a deeper level, not on the shallow surface of what you can provide. By refusing to give money, you invite her to see you for who you are, rather than what you have. Every woman may enjoy gifts, comfort, or security, but when it comes to genuine attraction, respect always outweighs resources. Money can create temporary excitement, but respect creates lasting interest. A woman who only values what you hand over financially is not truly drawn to you. She is drawn to the benefit. But when you refuse money with confidence and composure, you reveal something far more powerful: self-respect. And self-respect is what commands her respect in return. Female psychology is rooted in testing boundaries. When she asks for money, it is not always about the dollar amount. It's often about observing what it does to your sense of self. If you immediately pull out your wallet, you might think you're showing generosity, but in her eyes, you are lowering your value. You're proving that access to your resources can be bought cheaply with her presence. On the other hand, when you calmly refuse, you shift the dynamic. You're showing her that respect is the currency that matters most, not cash. A woman might protest in the moment, but deep down, she feels a stronger pull toward the man who does not allow himself to be reduced to a provider role. She feels the weight of your boundaries, and boundaries build respect. She realizes that your interest in her is not a transaction, but a standard. And when a man operates from standards, it forces her to rise and meet those standards instead of attempting to control the connection through financial dependence. Boundaries are not walls that push people away. They are signals of strength that draw the right kind of attention. When it comes to money, boundaries become even more crucial, because female psychology is wired to test whether a man can stand firm in who he is or whether he crumbles under pressure. If every request for money is met with compliance, it creates an unspoken message that your resources can be controlled. And once control enters the dynamic, respect begins to fade. The power of boundaries is not about saying no with anger, but about saying no with calm certainty. It's about communicating that your resources are earned, guarded, and not available as tools for manipulation. When you refuse financial requests with steadiness, you are not denying her. It is deeper than that. You are affirming yourself. A man who affirms himself becomes more attractive because he cannot be bent by momentary demands. His value is not tied to approval. It is tied to principle. A woman may push back against these boundaries at first, but beneath that resistance lies a powerful shift. She begins to understand that she cannot control you through money, which means she must connect with you on a more genuine level. This creates respect, and respect fuels desire. Boundaries prevent you from being trapped in a role of endless giving, and instead place you in the role of a man whose worth is defined by strength, not submission. That strength is what keeps her drawn in even when her tests fail. When money is removed from the equation, the relationship is forced to rely on something far more authentic: presence and energy. Female psychology is deeply responsive to the way a man makes her feel, not just what he can provide. A gift may be forgotten, but the way your energy shifts her mood, the way your presence makes her feel seen and desired, stays imprinted in her memory. This is where real influence lies, not in the transfer of cash, but in the transfer of emotional impact. Presence means more than simply being around. It means bringing certainty, calmness, and direction into every interaction. When you speak, when you lead, when you guide, she feels the energy of a man who doesn't need to buy affection because his presence is the gift. That is something money can never replicate. Many men make the mistake of thinking a woman's loyalty can be purchased, but loyalty is born from the emotional experiences you create when you stand fully in your masculine frame. By replacing money with energy, you reveal what she is truly drawn to. She starts to see that your time and focus are worth more than any material thing. The laughter you create, the protection you radiate, the confidence you embody, these are currencies stronger than money. When she feels this kind of presence, she realizes that what you offer cannot be bought or negotiated, and that realization deepens her attraction far more than any financial favor ever could. Human psychology is wired to desire what is not easily obtained, and female psychology is no different. When money is given too freely, it loses its value in her eyes, just like anything that comes without effort. But when financial favors are withheld, when resources are not poured out at every request, a sense of scarcity is created. Scarcity builds curiosity, and curiosity fuels attraction. It forces her to look beyond what you are willing to give materially and focus on who you are as a man. Scarcity does not mean neglect or indifference. It means selectiveness. When a woman sees that you are selective with your time, your energy, and especially your money, she realizes that she cannot simply take without earning your presence. That realization builds tension, and tension is at the heart of attraction. She is drawn closer not because of what you give, but because of what you choose to hold back. In that restraint lies power. The psychology of attraction thrives on contrast. If you were to always give money, there would be no edge, no mystery, nothing to chase. But by refusing to turn financial giving into the center of the relationship, you create a space where she is left wondering how to win your approval and maintain your interest without relying on material gain. That wonder keeps her invested. That scarcity makes her see your value not as something that can be purchased, but as something she must continuously earn through respect, loyalty, and genuine connection.